Hello everyone, this is my third video on not-for-profit organization. In this video, you'll learn the meaning and treatment of some special items of not-for-profit organization. These items can be separated into revenue nature items, capital nature items, and also some items can be treated both as revenue and capital nature depending on the circumstances. So let me start with the revenue nature items. The first item is subscription. Now, subscription is a fee which is paid by the members of a not-for-profit organization. They pay this fee on a regular basis. It may be either monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Since it is received on a regular basis, it is treated as an income. So when the income and expenditure account is prepared, then this amount of subscription is shown as an income in the income and expenditure account. And when the amounts are received in the form of subscriptions from the members, then it is shown at the end of the year in the receipts and payments account towards the receive side. Number 2, sale of scrap. Scraps are materials which are unusable, like for example bags, boxes, bottles, etc. Now these are unusable items. Now when such items are sold, the scraps are sold, then the amount which is received by the sale of such things, because it is of regular nature, it is treated as an income in the income and expenditure account. And when cash is received, then it is treated as receipts in the receipts and payments account. Number 3, purchase of newspapers and magazines, etc. Now purchasing of newspapers, magazine is common to not-for-profit organization. They purchase such materials quite often on a regular basis. So it is treated as an expense in the income and expenditure account. And when cash is paid for the purchasing of newspapers, magazines, etc., then it is treated as a payment in the receipts and payments account. Number 4, sale of newspapers, magazines, etc. The sale of used newspapers and magazines, the amount which is received by selling such item is treated as a received in the receipts and payments account, and it is also treated as an income in the income and expenditure account because this the sale of such materials are done on a regular basis by a not-for-profit organization. Number 5, sale of grass. Now, any receipts from the sale of grass of the garden or any other receipts from the product of the garden of the not-for-profit organization are treated as receipts in the receipts and payments account, and it is also treated as an income in the income and expenditure account. Number 6, honorarium. Now honorarium is a special payment made to a person who are made to persons who are not regular employees of the organization. These people, they render special and extraordinary service to the organization. For example, when payment are made to artists like singers, dancers, then this amount which is paid to such people, because they are not the regular employees, the amount which is paid is known as honorarium. It is not salary, but it is honorarium. It is a lump sum amount which is paid by the not-for-profit organization. But such kind of items are common to not-for-profit organization. So it is treated as an expenditure or an expense in the income and expenditure account. And when such payments are made in cash, then at the end of the year, it is shown on the payment side of the receipts and payments account. Number 7, purchase of consumable items. Now, in certain cases, for example, clubs or hospitals purchase certain items of regular consumption, such as medicines, playing cards, bar materials, etc. The purchase of such items is revenue payments. So it is shown in the payment side, of the receipts and payments account, and as an expenditure or an expense in the income and expenditure account. Number 8, receipts of consumable items. Now, selling of consumable items, for example, selling of medicines by not-for-profit organizations are revenue nature, and are treated as receives in the receives and payments account, and as an income in the income and expenditure account. So these are some of the common revenue nature item for a not-for-profit organization. Let us see the capital nature item for a not-for-profit organization. Now these are the capital nature item. Now let us see one by one. Number one, legacies. Now legacy is legacy is not a regular nature item of not-for-profit organization. Legacy is the amount received as per the will of a deceased person. Since it is a non-recurring nature item, it is a non-recurring in since it is non-recurring in nature, it is treated as a capital nature item. This amount is shown in the receive side. When such amounts are received, then it is shown on the receive side of the receipts and payments account, and in the balance sheet it is shown on the liability side. It is not this item is not shown in the income and expenditure account because income and expenditure account takes only revenue nature item. Number two, life membership fees. Life membership fees, sometimes membership fees is paid in lump sum amount by the member of the organization instead of paying regular subscription. Then such a receive will be capital in nature, since it is not paid regularly. It is paid on lump sum, and like it is not paid on a regular basis by the members. It is paid only once. So since it is paid only once, it is treated as a capital nature item. So when such receives are made in the form of life membership fees, then when the receipts and payments account is prepared, it is shown towards the receive side, and this is shown in the balance sheet towards the liability side, and it is not shown in the income and expenditure account. Number three, purchase of fixed asset. Now we know purchase of fixed asset is a capital nature item, like purchasing of furniture. Now when payment is made for purchasing fixed asset at the end of the year, this is the total payment of purchase of fixed asset is shown towards the payment side of the receipts and payments account, and in the balance sheet such purchase is shown as asset. Like for example, if furniture is purchased, then furniture will be shown as an asset in the balance sheet towards the asset side. Number four, sale of fixed assets. Now sale of fixed asset is a capital received and is shown in the receipts and payments account towards the receive side. That is the total amount which is received by sale of fixed asset. For example, if an asset is sold for rupees 1 lakh, then it will be shown as rupees 1 lakh in the receive side of the receipts and payments account. And in the balance sheet, this amount is deducted at cost. Suppose the cost of the fixed asset is 90,000, then it won't be the amount of deduction will not be 1 lakh rupees, but it will be 90,000 from the asset in the balance sheet. Now in the income and expenditure account, only the profit which is made during the sale of the asset. For example, if the profit here is 10,000 rupees because the cost is 90,000 and it is sold for 1 lakh rupees, so the profit is 10,000, then in the income and expenditure account, this profit will be shown in the income side of the income and expenditure account. But if there is a loss, then the loss will be shown towards the expenditure side of the income and expenditure account. So it will be shown as an expense in the income and expenditure account in the expenditure side. Number five, funds. Now funds is a common item for not-for-profit organization. It is treated as capital nature item. So when funds are received, it is treated as a received in the receipts and payments account, and it is shown in the end of the year towards the receive side. In the balance sheet, funds are usually shown towards the liability side. Now for funds, I will explain this in detail later on. So just you remember at present that funds, when amounts are received during the year, then it is shown towards the receive side, and funds are shown towards the liability side in the balance sheet because funds are of capital nature. Now there are certain items which can be treated as revenue as well as capital nature items depending on the circumstances. For example, donation. Now donation can be of two types. One is specific donation and the other is general donation. Specific donation can be like, for example, a donation which is given for a specific purpose. For example, an example given here is donation for building. So this is a specific donation. So specific donations are of capital nature. They are always treated as capital nature. So in the balance sheet, it is shown, this donation will be shown towards the liability side, and in the receipts and payments account, when this donation is received during the year, then this donation will be shown towards the receive side of the receipts and payments account. Now, general donation can be treated both as capital also and revenue nature item also, depending on the size of the amount. If the amount is big, then it is treated as a capital nature. If the amount is big, then it is treated as a capital nature item. If the amount is small, then it is treated as a revenue nature item. So if it is when the donation is received, then as usual it will be shown towards the receive side, and in the balance sheet this donation will be shown towards the liability side. It will not be shown in the income and expenditure account. But if it is a revenue nature item, as usual, if the amount is received, then it will be shown towards the receive side of the receipts and payments account, but it will not be shown in the balance sheet because it is a revenue nature item. It will be shown as an income in the income and expenditure account because income and expenditure account takes revenue nature item, and revenue nature items normally it is not presented in the balance sheet. So here we can see, so if the amount is big, then it is capital nature. If the amount is small, then general donations are treated as revenue nature item. Next is entrance fees. Entrance fees is sometimes called as admission fees in schools or colleges. So entrance fees is a fee which is usually paid while joining any not-for-profit organization. For example, admission of students, the students have to pay admission fees. In clubs, they have to pay entrance fees. Now, this entrance fees or admission fees can be treated as revenue nature also. It can be treated as capital nature also. Now, it can be treated as revenue nature if the amount is small or it is received on a regular basis. For example, the school receives on a regular basis from the students. So it can be treated as a revenue nature item. So when it is treated as a revenue nature item, when the amount is received in the form of entrance fees, then at the end of the year, the total entrance fees is shown towards the receive side of the receipts and payments account. And since it is of regular nature or it is of small amount, then it will be shown as a revenue nature. Then it will be shown on the income side of the income and expenditure account at the end of the year. Now, if the amount is big or if it is not received on a regular basis, then this is treated as a capital nature item. If it is treated as a capital nature item, when the amount is received, as usual, it will be shown on the receive side of the receipts and payments account. But this will not be shown in the income and expenditure account, but it will be shown towards the liability side of the balance sheet. Now, grants. Now, grants are usually given by government, by state government, by local governments to schools or colleges. It is a common item. Now, grants can be of two types again. One is specific grant and the other one might be regular grant. Specific grant means if the grant is given for a specific purpose. So if it is given for a specific purpose, then it is always treated as a capital nature item. So when such grants are received, then at the end of the year, the total amount of grants which are received is shown towards the receive side of the receipts and payments account. And since it is of capital nature, the grant will be shown towards the liability side of the balance sheet at the end of the year. Now, if the grant is of regular nature and it is not given for a specific purpose, then it is treated as a revenue nature item, and when the amount is received, it will be shown towards the received side at the end of the year. And since it is of revenue nature, it will be shown as an income in the income and expenditure account. So these are some of the common items of revenue nature, capital nature, and some items can be treated, as I said, both as capital and revenue depending on the circumstances. So these are some of the common items. There can be more items, but mostly these are the common items which I have tried to explain in this video. I hope you are clear with those items, how you are going to treat in the receipts and payments account, in the income and expenditure account, and in the balance sheet when such items are given in the question. Thank you.